From the farmers and ranchers of Farm Bureau, this is Farm Weekend. Lawmakers will consider funding a bill that could offer much-needed relief on the labor front. Chad Smith has more on what's in the bill for farmers and ranchers.
The U.S. House of Representatives Appropriations Committee is set to mark up a funding bill that could include some good news for farmers and ranchers. John Walt Boatwright, Director of Government Affairs for the American Farm Bureau Federation, says the bill, which dictates funding for the Departments of Labor and Health and Human Services, includes a freeze on the adverse effect wage rate and fixes for recently announced DOL rules.
The provisions in this bill really seek to provide some stability in an area that we haven't really had a lot of stability over the past couple of decades as it relates to our labor shortages and our labor costs in farm country. This bill includes some provisions that would provide some of that short-term relief for farmers, that stability for farm workers.
Ahead of the markup, AFBF sent a letter to the chairman and ranking member of the committee offering support of the bill and expressing gratitude for the difficult work the committee has done.
They have included some positive labor provisions that would provide some short-term relief and certainty for farmers and ranchers. So we, in that letter, recognized the work that the appropriators have done and urged the adoption of those provisions.
In addition to freezing the adverse effect wage rate, the bill will also make labor rules more consistent than they've been recently.
This bill also addresses some of the flurry of rulemaking that has taken place just in the past couple of years.
Chad Smith, Washington.
The KDA hosts an agricultural summit. More on that when Farm Weekend returns.
Frustrated with your current healthcare coverage? Kansans are saving up to 60% a month with Kansas Farm Bureau health plans. Choose from individual and family plans, short-term coverage, or dental and vision plans. It's quality coverage you can afford. Learn more and get a free quote by visiting kfbhealthplans.com or visiting a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
The Kansas Department of Agriculture will host the 9th annual Kansas Governor's Summit on Agricultural Growth on Wednesday, August 21st at the K-State Alumni Center in Manhattan. This event will host Kansas farmers, ranchers, and agribusinesses for discussion, networking, and a positive focus on growing agriculture. This year, the Ag Summit will feature speakers on international trade and panels of industry leaders for a cross-sector collaboration on the challenges and success we all face. Due to the generosity of our event sponsors, there is no cost to attend any of the events. Please register by Friday, August 16th. Registration for the 2024 to 2025 Ag Academy class will open July 15th. Ag Academy is an educational program providing a conduit for individuals of all occupations and agricultural knowledge to be exposed to the many facets of production agriculture, rural communities, and agricultural policy. The program runs from October to September. Registration information can be found at kfb.org/agacademy and closes September 6th. Next, Insight with Kim Baldwin.
Hey, farmers and ranchers, just as you do ride-alongs to inspect your fields and cattle, make sure you do the same for your mental well-being. Take time to check in with yourself and your neighbors. And if you find yourself in a crisis, remember, there's immediate help available at 988. Mental health is just as vital as the health of your farm. Let's prioritize it together. This message brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau and Kansas Farmers Union.
Now, Insight with Kim Baldwin.
A few months ago, I registered my 2 children for 2 weeks of swimming lessons at our town's pool. Registering my 8-year-old daughter for lessons was a non-negotiable. My son, on the other hand, had a choice of taking lessons or not. I warned him that he'd probably be the oldest kid in his swim level. After a few minutes of contemplation, my son announced that if taking 45-minute swimming lessons guaranteed him pool time for 2 weeks, he'd do it. Summer for my family is definitely spent a little differently than others. Yes, there's summer ball games with friends, and occasionally there's a friend that can come over to play or spend the night. But summer for my family also means a steady flow of farm work, and the kids are an active part of it all. Between wheat harvest, planting of fall crops, irrigation chores, checking livestock, and debris cleanup following summer storms, my 2 kids will always have a different summertime story compared to their classmates. I have to remind myself they need to experience the joys of summer as children. Yes, they need to understand the value of work. Yes, they need to be given responsibilities. Yes, they need to see that being part of a farming family includes helping when needed.
Join us next weekend for another edition of Farm Weekend from the Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture.